The detection comes too late. By the time your instruments register the threat, your fate is already sealed. This is the terror the F-22 Raptor instills. In the realm of aerial warfare, one aircraft stands so dominant, so legendary in its capabilities that its mere mention sends shivers through enemy forces. It was the pioneer of its class, and nearly 20 years later, it remains the gold standard, the F-22 Raptor. This aircraft represents engineering excellence without compromise. It combines the raw power of Jack Dempsey, the graceful finesse of Muhammad Ali, and the devastating impact of Mike Tyson, all wrapped in stealth composites and thrust vectoring excellence. This undisputed champion can dominate in close quarters combat or deliver lethal strikes from over 100 miles away. Near or far, the outcome is inevitable. The Raptor was engineered to control the skies, and it has done so unchallenged. Until recently. Now the Air Force has unveiled its next champion, the mysterious F-47. Designed with cutting-edge technology, artificial intelligence co-pilots, drone integration, and lessons from decades of combat operations embedded in its architecture, it's positioned as the successor to the throne. So what does this mean for the Raptor? Is it outdated, outmatched, or is there more to this story? Behind secure hangar doors? The F-22 has been doing far more than routine training missions. It's been evolving, serving as a testing platform for technologies that may have accelerated the development of the very fighter intended to replace it. And, despite its age, with fewer than 180 frames remaining operational, the Raptor still outperforms, outclimbs, and outfights anything else in the skies today. But this isn't merely about performance metrics. It's about legacy. It's about presence. That unmistakable silhouette tearing across hostile airspace, sending a clear message to adversaries. You are not safe. So before anyone declares the Raptors' era concluded, they should remember this. Raptors don't retire, they strike. This is Raptors' revenge. Let's explore further. A renowned aviator once remarked, "To identify the best in any field, don't examine the scoreboard, look at who everyone else is trying to surpass or measure themselves against." Every stealth aircraft developed after the F-22, whether China's J-20, Russia's Su-57, or even America's own F-35 Lightning, is evaluated against one definitive standard, the Raptor. When you become the reference point for everyone else's finest achievements, you've transcended being merely an aircraft. You've become a legend. This was the world's first genuine fifth-generation air superiority fighter. It didn't just push boundaries, it obliterated them. Stealth capability, velocity, maneuverability, and pure lethality all integrated into one formidable instrument of aerial dominance. It's Dempsey's power in a radar-evading frame. It's Ali's elusiveness dancing through detection systems like a phantom. It's Tyson's knockout force in Afterburner delivering a first-round elimination that comes without warning. In close rouse engagements, the Raptor's thrust vectoring transforms physical laws into mere suggestions. It can rotate, glide, and redirect its nose toward targets with supernatural agility, leaving opposing pilots bewildered as to how they became locked while still maneuvering in the opposite direction. But here's the crucial advantage. Proximity isn't necessary for its lethality. With advanced stealth technology and an arsenal of long-range AIM-120 AMRAAMs and now AIM-260 missiles, we're discussing ranges exceeding 100 miles, the Raptor can eliminate threats before they detect its presence. Remember, a missile's effective range is partially determined by the launching platform's characteristics. Put simply, when the firing aircraft operates at high altitude and velocity, the missile's range increases proportionally. Here's the impressive part. The F-22 not only achieves speeds surpassing Mach 2, but it can also supercruise. What does this mean? The Raptor belongs to an elite category of combat aircraft capable of sustained supersonic flight without requiring afterburners. Additionally, the F-22 carries its weaponry internally, meaning it maintains a clean, aerodynamic profile. Compare this to fourth-generation fighters that must suspend their armaments on external pylons, creating substantial drag. Since the F-22 typically flies with minimal drag, the missiles it deploys travel farther and faster across most flight profiles. It's like a heavyweight champion who can also execute precision sniper shots from distance. This isn't merely air superiority, it's air supremacy. And with the integration of the AIM-260, America's newest long-range air-to-air missile, the Raptor has evolved once again. The AIM-260 offers at least twice the range of the AIM-120 it replaces. Reports indicate the 260's range exceeds 100 miles, making it the modern equivalent of the AIM-54 Phoenix missile. Remember that expression, reach out and touch someone? That someone just experienced a sudden loss of airspeed, altitude, and survival probability. The fundamental truth is this: the Raptor was created to own the skies, and 2 decades later, that title remains unchallenged. But here's what official statements don't reveal. The Raptor wasn't solely built for combat. It was designed to pioneer. Behind classified doors, deep within restricted test ranges and hidden airfields, the F-22 has been quietly evolving, not just as a fighter, but as a flying laboratory for future developments. Around 2018, intriguing activities began. Select F-22s were equipped with experimental systems, unusual antenna arrays, advanced data links, unconventional payloads, and even surface treatments that don't correspond to any documented configurations. And the pilots weren't simply flying, they were conducting tests. Testing what? Officially, no comment. Unofficially, many believe these Raptors were helping shape a ghost project, a future fighter then unnamed, which would later emerge as the F-47. Consider the logic. If you're developing the next generation of air dominance, wouldn't you begin with your most dominant existing platform? By leveraging proven systems from the Raptor, propulsion, flight controls, sensor fusion, even stealth technologies, the Air Force didn't start from baseline. They started from superiority. This suggests the F-22 isn't merely the predecessor to the F-47. It might be the catalyst for the F-47's existence. If this assessment is accurate, then retiring the Raptor isn't simply decommissioning an aircraft. It's disconnecting the very system that's feeding critical data to the next generation, information essential for effective flying, fighting, and prevailing. This is where the stakes become critical. While Pentagon discussions center on budgets, force structure, and transitioning to hybrid air wings, adversaries like China and Russia observe attentively, racing to narrow the capability gap. The Raptor has been buying us strategic time, training elite pilots, refining tactical approaches, and stress testing technologies that could determine outcomes in future conflicts. Lose that prematurely, and second chances may not exist. Here's another fascinating aspect. While the Raptor has accelerated the FF-47's development, the new aircraft remains years from full deployment. And when the F-47 does become operational, it will likely operate alongside the Raptor during its early service period. Picture an F-47 coordinating swarms of unmanned systems, deploying them forward to engage and neutralize enemy defenses and anti-air installations. Meanwhile, paired Raptors could accompany the F-47, providing highly agile, close-range air-to-air protection. Nothing penetrates this defense. Such collaborative operations would maximize the strengths of each platform. Perhaps the question isn't when the F-22 will retire, but rather what happens to our future capabilities when it does. Yet, despite its dominance, the Raptor isn't invulnerable. Even apex predators age, and in a strategic landscape shifting eastward toward extended ranges, broader oceanic theaters, and more sophisticated sensor networks, some of the F-22's limitations are becoming apparent. First, let's address range. The F-22 was conceived during a different era, specifically the Cold War, when the primary threat axis was across the Fulda Gap, not the Philippine Sea. Its combat radius approximates 500 nautical miles, adequate for European scenarios, but problematic for vast Pacific operations. Aerial refueling becomes both essential lifeline and strategic vulnerability. And guess what adversaries target first? China has invested heavily in long-range air-to-air missiles designed to neutralize these aerial refueling platforms at distance. As any tanker crew would affirm, You can't kick ass without tanker gas. Stated differently, air dominance is meaningless if you can't reach the battle space. The newer fighter must offer substantially greater range, and then there's the numerical equation. Only 187 Raptors were ever manufactured, with fewer than 150 remaining combat-capable today. That's not merely rare, that's precious. These airframes continuously rotate between operational missions, training exercises, and now testing duties. We're expecting one aircraft type to fulfill multiple critical roles simultaneously. Champion, instructor, and sometimes experimental platform, but that's excessive demand for a diminishing fleet with no production line remaining active. Finally, there's the technological gap. Remarkably, the Raptor King of the Skies lacks an infrared search and track system. Indeed, no built-in infrared detection capability. In an era when China and Russia are producing equipped fighters, that represents a critical sensor deficit for the Raptor. The explanation lies in original stealth design priorities. Remember, the Raptor was essentially conceived in the 1990S, and its distinctive low-profile, gold-tinted canopy prevents the helmet mount cueing systems that newer fighters like the F-35 depend on for high off-bore sight missile engagement. It's comparable to a heavyweight boxer unable to look over his shoulder. To be clear, the Raptor remains lethal, but modern aerial combat isn't solely determined by striking power. It's about who detects first, who distributes information fastest, and who adapts most rapidly. And the F-22, legendary as it is, predates much of this capability. The Raptor faces obsolescence not just from new aircraft designs, but from the evolving nature of warfare itself. It lacks the latest technological lexicon, no AI co-pilots, no drone swarm integration. It wasn't designed as a node in a network, it was designed to be the storm itself. When the F-22 first took flight, it revolutionized aerial warfare. For the first time in aviation history, air dominance wasn't about matching adversary capabilities, it was about surpassing them so completely that engagements ended before they began. For over 2 decades, no potential adversary has dared to challenge this reality. Yes, the platform is aging. Yes, it's numerically limited. And yes, eventually replacement will come. But as another famous pilot once said, perhaps so, but not today. Today, the Raptor continues to fly. It continues training our finest aviators. It continues patrolling against threats worldwide. And when the critical moment arrives, when deterrence fails and operations commence, it will be the Raptor answering the call. You don't evaluate the Raptor by its age. You judge it by its continued capabilities, by the silence it brings to contested airspace, by the apprehension it still generates in adversary calculations. This isn't merely an aircraft, it's a legacy. So, before writing its final chapter, before rendering final honors and embracing the future, remember one certainty. The Raptor still engages. The Raptor still prevails. When the next significant conflict erupts, the skies will momentarily quiet, and then it will strike. Because Raptors don't retire. They hunt. And that's the unvarnished truth. So which do you think truly dominates the skies? The battle-tested F-22 Raptor or the futuristic power of the F-47? Could the F-47 redefine aerial combat? Or will the F-22 remain the undisputed king? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this comparison intriguing, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more powerful insights into next-gen military tech. See you in the next one.